So I just finished the other video about the plastics outbreak in Russia. Well, first it was metal, then it was plastics. And at first it was just a toy manufacturing license, TOYMAN, being man, I have facts. I, and then it's FACTS. They want to be able to build machines to manufacture fast in your industrial revolution of losing world security in a really fast-paced environment. It slipped. The gears of, like, transmission slip really fucking quick. Once you went from metal to plastic, and then you let them build shops. SHOPS. Do you understand? What you do in Russia affects America. All the shitbags in America right now are having major fucking issues because of all of the things that we warn you about to keep your women and men safe and in high priority on the global scale and quell your problem to the south. Now, what is the Cold War? I'm just curious because I know I've heard people comment on it. They're like, oh, it's where Gorbachev, like, gave Reagan, like, an over-the-phone, Mickey Mouse over-the-televised warning about nuclear war. We'll try talking and being friends rather than getting angry and going to hot nuclear war. Right, okay, see, this is where, between Russian acrylic, the Asians interfering, being the shitbags, see, like Russia, anything Russia, like Putin, I would go more to Ukraine and, like, Belarus, like Jackie Leiberg territory, who looks more like Liv Tyler in The Lord of the Rings, than I would to your close to the water. Just saying. So, because your English gets mistranslated and gives you the wrong image, based on the fact that I'm Caesar from Italy, which was Mussolini at a time, which everybody hated or some liked, whatever. Same thing with Hitler, whatever. That was Adolf. I'm with Nicolaus. And we have a whole nother godly position on the earth. So, Cold War. So here we are. So problems with billion-dollar transactions somewhere in the sphincter of Russia, being close to, like, Mongol territory, with getting themselves, like I have going on in America now and then. So let's not leave. Nobody's better than anybody else. But this is what my commentary and my papers were on. In case your linguistics didn't translate them properly and you don't know who your friend was in global security and planetary things. So they down in your south have this, like, Hello Kitty thing, HELLOKITTY. That's a problem for me because the word cat being CAT or KAT is mine. I own it. It's copyrighted. It's a God word. And humans don't have words unless we allow them to say them. That's why there was such a heavy restriction on copyright and on using any of the God files of the planetary intelligence for brand and marketing purposes of outside kingdom guidelines. We don't supply to the shitbags to the south of Russia access to metal to build manufacturing to then supply them more stuff in the future. We don't have to supply them with the tools to undercut and take business away from kingdom. We just don't. They have needs. They're one of the lower breed children. That's it. It's the way that they were set up. Same thing with the dark skins and the caramels in America. You manufacture and supply it through the one house, and then it goes down, and that's it. And it's a supply for like big stuff. But instead you give them access to metal to make the gears of machines for automated transactions. You allowed them some contract with plastics, which made like small dollar toys for the Dollar General, which is what I used to call that piece of shit. And then it was shipped out, and they're like, well, because I'm like, every dollar adds up and is one more step that they're going to be in control of something in the future, and you're going to lose your edge. Do you get this? Great. Now, do you know what a button is? B-U-T-T-O-N. Right? Buttons. This is a zipper. I have a zipper on my jacket. That is a zipper. It goes up and down. On jackets, jaqueta, right? You used to have buttons, right? They were circle buttons, right? We said it's going to become a problem. They're going to want to manufacture buttons and then sell buttons everywhere, which they did. Then they're going to compete with other world partners and other country kingdoms. That is going to cause an even bigger rift and an even bigger problem for keeping tight control on the dangerous stuff. So what happens? So you give them all of these things. They do everything we tell you don't allow them to do. If you're going to war with anybody, it's not the Germans and Nazis and Hitler. It's not, nobody wants to take over Russia. What we want to do is Hitler offered to come in and help you guys in order to, like, claim your lands back and push off the problem children and just go through in a genocide format. You, Stalin and Hitler together, like best buds. We would have invited Mussolini, but somebody had to keep the South under control. You understand? Besides the fact Mussolini wasn't my family. So he was part of the problem with my grandfather, Octavian Caesar. So we just knew that we had a common enemy and we needed to get past whatever it was that we were upset about. So that's how that worked. And then what happens? So now they do plastics and whatnot. Now they're trying to buy from your citizens who feel like they're shafted, poor, they're not able to do things, and they're selling sacred intelligence, not knowing, feeling like they're left out of something, to the shitbags to the south, and trying to get a better price, which is dangerous for the whole world, because they're not allowed to have plans, documents, blueprints, nothing. But now they have some money, they have some knowledge. Now it becomes a real fucking problem and a conundrum, doesn't it? Right. So now what happens when they advance so far that you can't put them back down? I'm just curious. Because then they started like going into Azerbaijani territory of like the Scythian queen, who also handles Iraq, Iran, and then they're riling them up about nuclear weapons and chemistry sets and plutonium enrichment and all sorts of stuff to build nuclear power plants. So the guise was, but that wasn't what the real conversation was about. It was about weaponizing themselves. So should the kingdom ever push back, they felt like they were someone special. Yeah, right. Except in my territory, you push a fucking button and EMP goes, and it goes, oh, did they blow themselves up? Right, yeah, I'm waiting for that day. I said I would stay silent. I took a vow of silence. I'm talking now because I've been here and you humans have been nothing but really shitty to me. You won't employ me anywhere. And not that I really need to work anywhere, because we worked through the war on the way in. We warned you all what not to do. We were the ones helping you all not allow certain things to happen for security reasons. And you took everything we gave you, and like, I swear to God, this is what it feels like. We gave you everything to keep yourself safe, and you're like, okay, so listen, they're saying we can't give them medals. Here you go. You want medals? Here you go. Here, take medals. Take that one. You take that one. You take that one. Great. Okay. And now here we are, like a generation or two later, and it's like, well, now I'm born. You still didn't fix my family's money situation, so you haven't acknowledged them in the money partnership, which was part of, like, the licensing, allowed to breathe and make money on this planet at the top, at highest level. Right. I mean, I did my job on being the altruistic, like, true goddess of Nyx. I tell you like it is, but then if the police department and security force that's supposed to protect me for protecting them and their kids and their future, if they don't do the right job and they're like, oh, no, we're good. Okay, there she is. Yeah, she's all you. We're not touching that with 10-foot pole. So here I am, 41 years into, I saw this coming. I told you, Cold War people, there's two ways that this is going to go south. It's going to be the Ottoman Empire issue of Jason Romer, and it's going to be the second Cold River, Coldriver, which is going to be a Teofrio, Teofrio problem. Both of them are going to bring in separate issues that manifest based on your poor leadership and ability to get my life right. The one. Only thing you had to worry about from 1978 on was to get my one life right every single day. And instead you left me in isolation. You set me up with like Vicky Gambardella and Molly Finkel and Courtney Gross and Shauna Hildebrand and all the fucking shitbags in Lloyd Harbor Elementary. So we have, where am I? Jason Romer is a big fucking problem. That's the Middle East problem. That's why you're over there in Iraq at the moment as punishment. But that's just so that way the shitbag Asians can move more material, including like some Ilasani, Omani, I don't know. Now we've got like turban heads and burqa chicks like inside the U.S. Congress thinking that they have a voice. Who runs the U.S.? I'm just curious because it's not patriotized to landmass. I know that you sit in some Washington. It's in a state of Maryland. You're not a Christian, so we don't really listen to you, and you don't look like one of us. So we got some really major issues going on. World stage, right? And then the police are like, no, we can't do. Oh, it's like Antichrist to speak about like white people. Right? Yeah, you keep going with that. I mean, you've been doing a fucking bang up job since you stopped talking about the whites and like the priority on the planet being safety and security of like the fucking mental cases and their future to exist as families and children. Right, yeah. So you keep taking God out of the equation and you keep letting fucking criminals and I'm not listening to that. Right, yeah, okay, that's gonna get you far in like, here's the thing, everything that's like Mongolian, because I woke up and in Bayside, Bayside, zip code, ZIPCODE, for private houses, by the way. I know like it's a little confusing, but whatever. For regular neighborhoods, there's nothing in this neighborhood except for Korean, Chinese, and all area facial Down syndrome. It is the ugliest neighborhood I've ever seen. Why would America allow this in the USA? I'm just curious. This is like a clear indication of advancements of a major problem. Why is nobody policing properly? Where do you begin? Anything that's not Illuminati white. That's where. Because they are taking complete advantage of security. Those little round buttons that they wanted to start with as plastics, then they learned from the blueprints that they were buying illegally to make keyboard buttons and then sold you all ways for them to break into your genetics and hold you hostage, parents and children.